Have you ever wondered what happens to a soul that no one prays for? A forgotten soul with no candles lit, no masses offered, not even a whispered rosary in its memory. What happens in the silence of eternity to those who have departed and been left in the shadows of forgetfulness? This is a profound question that forces us to confront not only the fate of those who have passed on, but also how we deal with death, memory, and eternity. And it is precisely this question that touched the heart of Padre Pio of Pietrelcina with supernatural force, a man who saw beyond the veil of matter, who dialogued with souls in purgatory, who felt the invisible torments of those crying out for help. The modern world moves at a relentless pace. We rush from one moment to the next, barely pausing to remember those who once walked beside us. Death has become something we push away, something we process quickly before returning to our busy lives. But what if I told you that this forgetfulness has profound spiritual consequences? What if I told you that souls are waiting, hoping, longing for someone, anyone, to remember them? If you believe in the power of prayer for departed souls, write in the comments, Padre Pio, she will remember them. This simple act of commitment might be the first step in changing a soul's destiny. Today, I'm going to share with you Padre Pio's extraordinary revelations about what souls in purgatory actually experience, what they desperately ask for, and why your prayers might be the only hope for someone who has been completely forgotten. This knowledge, passed down through Padre Pio's mystical experiences, has the power to transform not only how you pray, but also how you understand the profound connection between the living and the dead. Padre Pio wasn't just any saint. He was a man whose body bore the wounds of Christ, whose soul traveled between worlds, and whose compassion extended beyond the boundaries of death itself. Through his extraordinary spiritual gifts, he became a bridge between our world and the next, bringing back messages that few have ever heard. Stay with me until the end, because the final revelation from Padre Pio about forgotten souls contains a truth so powerful that it might forever change how you think about your own prayers and their eternal impact. Padre Pio was no ordinary priest. Born Francesco Forgione in the small town of Pietrelcina, Italy, in 1887, his life would become a testament to extraordinary spiritual phenomena. From an early age, he experienced visions of both Jesus and Mary. But what made Padre Pio truly remarkable was his profound connection with souls who had passed from this world. For 50 years, he bore the stigmata, the visible wounds of Christ, on his hands, feet, and side. These wounds bled daily, causing him immense physical pain, yet he offered this suffering for the salvation of soul. This was just the beginning of his supernatural gifts. Padre Pio could read hearts, bilocate, appear in two places at once, and, most relevant to our discussion today, he could see and communicate with souls in purgatory. In the quiet corridors of the monastery of San Giovanni Rotondo, Padre Pio would often be visited by souls seeking prayers and relief. The other friars would sometimes hear him speaking in the middle of the night, carrying on conversations with invisible visitors. When asked about these encounters, Padre Pio would simply say, "They come to me for prayers. They need our help." One particularly moving account tells of a night when the other friars found Padre Pio weeping in the chapel. When they asked what troubled him, he explained that he had just received a visit from a soul who had been in purgatory for 40 years. This soul told him that not a single person had prayed for him since his funeral mass. The pain of being forgotten, Padre Pio later explained, is sometimes more acute than the purifying flames themselves. Padre Pio understood that the souls in purgatory cannot pray for themselves. Their time for earning merit has passed with death. They depend entirely on the charity of the living, on us, to shorten their time of purification. Through his mystical experiences, he gained profound insights into what these souls experience, what they most desperately need, and how our smallest prayers can bring them immeasurable relief. What makes these revelations so important is that they come not from theological speculation, but from direct, mystical experience. Padre Pio didn't just believe in the power of prayer for the dead. He witnessed its effects with his own eyes. He saw souls transformed by a single Hail Mary, lightened by the offering of a Mass, comforted by the simple act of remembrance. And what he discovered about what souls ask for when we pray for them might surprise you, challenge you, and ultimately inspire you to a new level of spiritual awareness and compassion. Many of you watching have felt that special connection with loved ones who have passed on. You've sensed their presence, felt their needs, or simply wondered how you could help them on their spiritual journey. This deep desire to help our departed loved ones is exactly why we've created something special for you. Our ebook, The Spiritual Secrets of St. Padre Pio, contains powerful prayers, reflections based on his teachings, and practical advice to strengthen your spirituality. This resource brings together Padre Pio's most profound insights about the connection between this world and the next, including his special prayers for souls in purgatory. This isn't just another spiritual book. It's a practical guide that can transform your prayer life and create a meaningful bridge between you and your departed loved ones. Many readers have shared how these prayers have brought them peace and a deeper sense of connection with those who have passed on. If you'd like to discover these spiritual treasures, simply click the link pinned in the comments below. May this resource be a blessing on your spiritual journey as you learn to pray more effectively for those who need it most. To understand what happens to souls that no one prays for, we must first understand what the Catholic Church teaches about purgatory. Purgatory isn't a second chance or an alternative to heaven or hell. Rather, it's a state of purification for souls who died in God's grace but aren't yet ready for the full glory of heaven. These souls are already saved. They will eventually enter heaven, but they must first be purified. St. Catherine of Genoa, who had mystical visions of purgatory, explained that the pain there is twofold: the purifying fire and the impatient love. The souls burn with love for God, but know they cannot yet embrace Him fully. In this state, they cannot help themselves. They rely entirely on the charity of the living through masses, rosaries, fasts, sacrifices, and indulgences. Each prayer is like a drop of water on the fire of purification. Now imagine the despair of a soul with no one to pray for them. Padre Pio witnessed this anguish firsthand. During one of his mystical experiences, a soul appeared to him shrouded in dense fog, with a dejected face and afflicted eyes. The soul said, "Padre Pio, no one prays for me. I've been forgotten even by my children. My pain is not just the suffering I carry, but the loneliness, the abandonment. I am trapped in a time of waiting." The impact of this revelation was so profound that Padre Pio spent the entire night in prayer, on his knees, with tears in his eyes. He understood better than most that purgatory is not just a place of purification, but also of deep longing for God. A longing that burns more intensely than any fire. What shocked him most wasn't the suffering itself, but the indifference of the living, the silence of those who should remember, the rush of life that buries memory. We live in times when everything is fast, even memory. People die and, after the funeral, are often quickly forgotten. For many, the memorial service is the last gesture. After that, the tomb becomes covered with dry leaves, and the name fades from conversations. But on the spiritual plane, the soul still waits. Padre Pio said that we forget the dead, but they never forget us. And more, a soul from purgatory freed by your prayer will be eternally grateful and will pray for you with all fervor. Here enters a crucial truth. Praying for the dead is an act of charity and also of wisdom. For those who help will also be helped when it's their turn to cross the great threshold. The greatest suffering for these souls isn't just the purification process itself. According to Padre Pio, it's the pain of being forgotten, of feeling abandoned in their moment of greatest need. It's the agony of knowing that liberation is possible through prayer, yet no prayer is offered. It's like someone drowning, calling for help, but no one hears. This is what Padre Pio witnessed. This is why he said, "Pray for the dead. They need you, and you will need them." Through his mystical gifts, Padre Pio gained remarkable insights into what souls in purgatory truly ask for when they reach out to the living. Their requests are both simpler and more profound than many of us might imagine. First and foremost, they ask to be remembered. This may seem basic, but in the spiritual realm, remembrance is a powerful act of love. When we remember the dead, when we speak their names, recall their lives, or simply hold them in our thoughts during prayer, we create a spiritual connection that transcends the barrier between worlds. Padre Pio once told his spiritual children, "The dead ask not for elaborate monuments or expensive displays. They ask only that you remember them before God." Second, souls ask for the Holy Mass. Of all prayers and offerings, the Mass holds a unique power to relieve suffering in purgatory. Padre Pio would say, "The Mass is the highest form of prayer, and it is the most powerful way to help the souls in purgatory." He explained that when a Mass is offered for a specific soul, that soul receives special graces that can significantly reduce their time of purification. Even if a soul is not directly named, but is included in the general intention for all the faithful departed, they receive relief. Third, souls ask for specific prayers that carry indulgences. The Church teaches that certain prayers, when said with the proper disposition, can carry partial or plenary indulgences that may be applied to souls in purgatory. Padre Pio particularly recommended the Rosary, the Stations of the Cross, and the prayer of Saint Gertrude the Great, which is said to release 1,000 souls from purgatory each time it is prayed with devotion. Fourth, they ask for acts of charity done in their name. Padre Pio revealed that when we perform works of mercy, feeding the hungry, visiting the sick, comforting the afflicted, and offer these actions for the dead, they receive tremendous benefit. He would say, every act of love performed on earth echoes in eternity, but perhaps most surprisingly, souls ask for our joy. Padre Pio explained that excessive grief, especially when it leads to despair or bitterness, can actually burden the departed. While natural mourning is healthy and necessary, souls take comfort when their loved ones eventually find peace and joy again. As Padre Pio put it, "The dead do not want your tears as much as they want your prayers. Your joy gives them joy, your peace gives them peace." How do souls communicate these needs to us? According to Padre Pio, they often use subtle means: a sudden memory, an unexpected dream, a feeling of presence, or even a slight chill in a room. These aren't meant to frighten, but to remind. When you suddenly think of someone who has passed away, it may not be mere coincidence. It might be their way of gently asking for prayer. One particularly moving testimony comes from a woman who visited Padre Pio in the 1950s. She had lost her husband in the war and had been consumed by grief for years. During confession, before she could even speak, Padre Pio said to her, "Your husband is at peace, but he needs your prayers more than your tears. He has been trying to tell you this for years." The woman later reported that she had frequently dreamed of her husband standing silently by her bed. After following Padre Pio's counsel and praying for him regularly, the dreams changed. In the last one, her husband appeared smiling and then walked into a brilliant light. To understand the full impact of our prayers for the dead, we must first grasp what Padre Pio called the economy of grace, the spiritual system through which prayers and sacrifices flow between the Church militant, us on earth, the Church suffering, souls in purgatory, and the Church triumphant, saints in heaven. In this divine economy, nothing is wasted, and every spiritual act has far-reaching consequences. Padre Pio revealed that when we pray for the dead, several miraculous things happen simultaneously. First, the soul for whom we pray receives immediate relief. Padre Pio described this relief as a cool breeze in the midst of flames, or a moment of clarity in the fog of purification. Even a single Hail Mary can provide a soul with moments of consolation. A complete rosary can bring hours of relief. A Mass offered can liberate a soul entirely if they are near the end of their purification. Second, the soul becomes aware of who is praying for them. This creates a profound spiritual bond that transcends death itself. Padre Pio explained, "The souls know exactly who is helping them. They see it as clearly as we see the sun at noon, and they begin immediately to pray for their benefactors with an intensity that we on earth cannot comprehend." Third, our prayers help souls progress through what Padre Pio described as levels of purification. He often spoke of purgatory not as a single state, but as having different degrees or stages. Our consistent prayers help souls advance through these stages more quickly, drawing them ever closer to the beatific vision, the direct experience of God's presence that is the essence of heaven. The power of our prayers is not dependent on our own holiness or perfection. Padre Pio emphasized that even the simplest prayer, offered with sincerity and love, carries immense power for the souls in purgatory. He would tell his spiritual children, "God looks at the love with which you pray, not the eloquence of your words." One of the most powerful revelations Padre Pio shared about praying for the dead is that these prayers are never wasted. If you pray for a soul who is already in heaven, the grace of your prayer is applied to another soul in need, often the most forgotten or abandoned soul. He explained, "No prayer is ever lost in God's economy. He ensures that every act of charity reaches those who need it most." Padre Pio also revealed something that many find surprising, that prayers for the dead can be more effective after major feast days or during special liturgical seasons. He particularly emphasized the power of prayers offered during the Octave of All Souls, November Fast 8th, during Holy Week, and on the feasts of the Sacred Heart and the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Perhaps most movingly, Padre Pio described what happens when a soul is finally released from purgatory through prayer. He said, "When a soul enters heaven because of your prayers, the joy in heaven is indescribable. All the angels and saints rejoice at this new arrival, and they learn the name of the person whose prayers helped this soul reach paradise. You gain a grateful friend in eternity." This exchange, this spiritual reciprocity, transforms praying for the dead from a solemn duty into a profound privilege. We are not merely helping those who cannot help themselves. We are participating in a divine exchange that enriches heaven itself and creates eternal bonds of gratitude and love. Based on his mystical experiences, Padre Pio provided specific guidance on how to pray most effectively for the souls in purgatory. These are not merely theoretical suggestions, but proven spiritual practices that Padre Pio himself used and recommended to his spiritual children. The Holy Mass stands above all other prayers in its efficacy for the dead. Padre Pio would say, "The souls in purgatory long for the Mass more than a parched land longs for rain." He strongly encouraged having Masses offered for specific individuals, especially on the anniversary of their death, their birthday, or on All Souls' Day. If possible, attending the Mass yourself and receiving communion for that intention multiplies its spiritual power. The Rosary holds special significance in helping souls. Padre Pio revealed that when the Rosary is prayed for a departed soul, each Hail Mary falls like dew upon them, providing temporary but real relief. He especially recommended the sorrowful mysteries for this intention, as they unite the suffering soul with Christ's own suffering, which has infinite redemptive value. Padre Pio also taught a simple yet powerful daily practice. When you wake in the morning, offer your day's activities, sacrifices, and difficulties for the souls most in need. He explained, "This morning offering creates a stream of grace that flows to souls throughout your day, even when you're not consciously praying." For those souls who have been long forgotten, Padre Pio suggested a specific approach. Choose one day each month to dedicate to anonymous souls, those with no one left on earth to pray for them. On this day, offer your Mass, communion, rosary, and daily activities for these abandoned souls. He assured that this act of charity brings extraordinary comfort to those who have been forgotten the longest. Lighting a candle can be a powerful prayer for the dead when done with proper intention. Padre Pio taught that the light symbolizes Christ, and as the candle consumes itself, it represents our own offering of prayer. He suggested a simple prayer to accompany this gesture. Lord, by this light, illuminate a forgotten soul. The hour of mercy, 3 p.m., commemorating Christ's death, holds special power for helping souls. Padre Pio recommended saying the Divine Mercy Chaplet at this hour specifically for the dead. He explained that because it's based on offering Christ's own sacrifice to the Father, it has particular efficacy for souls undergoing purification. Another practice Padre Pio strongly endorsed was the heroic act of charity, a voluntary offering of all your own future merits and prayers for the souls in purgatory. While this is a serious commitment, he explained that it creates a tremendous flow of grace for suffering souls and paradoxically brings spiritual abundance back to the person who makes this offering. For those who wish to help many souls at once, Padre Pio recommended visiting a cemetery and walking among the graves while praying. With each step, offer a brief prayer such as, "Eternal rest grant unto them, O Lord." He revealed that this simple practice can bring momentary relief to many forgotten souls simultaneously. Perhaps most importantly, Padre Pio emphasized consistency over quantity. He would tell people, "It is better to say one Hail Mary every day for a soul than to pray an entire rosary once a month." The steady stream of prayer, even if small, creates what he called a continuous current of grace that gradually but surely helps souls advance toward heaven. In times of spiritual dryness, when prayer seems difficult or rote, Padre Pio offered this advice. Simply tell God, "I offer this moment of dryness as my prayer for the forgotten souls." Even your struggles can become powerful prayers when offered with love. While our primary motivation for praying for the dead should be charity, Padre Pio revealed that those who remember the forgotten souls receive extraordinary spiritual benefits themselves. This isn't merely a transaction or exchange. It's part of the beautiful economy of grace that connects all members of the Church across the threshold of death. First and foremost, Padre Pio taught that souls who are released from purgatory through our prayers become powerful intercessors on our behalf. He explained, "These souls do not forget the good that was done for them. They help in temptations, protect in difficulties, and obtain extraordinary graces." In other words, by praying for an unknown person, you may be gaining a powerful friend in heaven. One of Padre Pio's spiritual children once shared a remarkable testimony. After faithfully praying for forgotten souls for several years, she was driving on a treacherous mountain road when her brakes suddenly failed. As her car careened toward a steep cliff, she felt what she described as invisible hands taking control of the steering wheel, guiding her car to safety against a hillside rather than over the precipice. Later in prayer, she received a clear interior understanding that one of the souls she had helped had intervened to save her life. Padre Pio also revealed that those who pray for the forgotten dead receive special protection at the hour of their own death. He said, "No one who has been dedicated to relieving the souls in purgatory will die without special assistance at the final moment." This protection comes not only from the souls themselves, but from God, who honors this spiritual work of mercy with particular graces. Those who regularly remember the dead in prayer often find themselves developing greater spiritual sensitivity overall. Padre Pio explained that as we attune ourselves to the needs of souls beyond the veil, we simultaneously become more aware of God's presence in our daily lives. Many of his spiritual children reported experiences of deeper prayer, greater discernment, and heightened awareness of spiritual realities after adopting the practice of regular prayer for the dead. There are also practical benefits that Padre Pio observed in those dedicated to this ministry. He noted they often developed greater patience in suffering, recognizing that their own trials could be offered for souls. They tended to grow in detachment from material possessions, seeing more clearly what truly matters in the light of eternity. Many found a new sense of purpose, knowing that even their simplest prayers were accomplishing real good in the spiritual realm. Perhaps most significantly, Padre Pio taught that praying for the forgotten dead transforms our own relationship with death. The more you pray for those who have gone before you, he would say, the less you will fear your own passage from this world to the next. This practice gradually replaces fear with hope, dread with anticipation, and uncertainty with trust. Before his own death, Padre Pio made this remarkable promise: if you remember the forgotten souls now, I guarantee you will not be forgotten when your time comes. This wasn't merely a prediction, but a spiritual principle. What we sow in the spiritual realm, we will also reap. The mercy we extend to others will be extended to us in our own time of need. In this way, what begins as an act of charity toward unknown souls becomes a source of immeasurable blessing in our own lives, creating a beautiful circle of grace that extends from earth to purgatory to heaven and back again. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine that you have departed from this life. Your soul is in a state of purification, yearning for the light of God. And then time passes. No one remembers you anymore. Your children remain busy with their lives. Your grandchildren don't know who you were. Your friends have also passed on. And the church, you've been forgotten in the back of a sanctuary, in the drawer of a baptistry register, in the silence of a tomb. How would you feel? Now return to the present and answer, would you want this to happen to anyone? Before his death, Padre Pio advised his spiritual children, never stop praying for souls, especially for the most forgotten ones. They are the most grateful, and when they are freed, they will rush to your aid. You cannot imagine the power these souls have when they reach heaven. Today, we've journeyed through Padre Pio's profound revelations about what souls ask for when we pray for them. We've discovered that they long not just for relief from purification, but for the simple gift of being remembered. We've learned that our prayers, even the smallest ones, can bring tremendous comfort to those who can no longer help themselves. And we've seen how this spiritual work of mercy creates a beautiful cycle of grace that enriches both the giver and the receiver. The modern world moves quickly, rushing from one distraction to the next, rarely pausing to remember those who have gone before us. But you now hold a precious truth, the understanding that beyond the veil of death, souls wait, hope, and long for our prayers. You have the power to bring light into that waiting darkness. You have the privilege of participating in what Padre Pio called the ministry of remembrance. I invite you today to make a simple but profound commitment. Before going to sleep tonight, light a candle for a forgotten soul, say an Our Father and a Hail Mary for those whom no one else remembers, and whisper softly, Lord, receive this prayer for a soul who has been waiting for a long time. Then sleep in peace. Because perhaps today, through your prayer, you have freed a soul from forgetfulness. Praying for the dead is an act of faith, but also of humanity. When we remember, we honor. When we pray, we heal. And when we give, we receive twice as much. Padre Pio showed us that eternity begins with small gestures, that charity does not end with death, and that souls do not die, they only wait. May this moment, as you've listened to these words, be a moment when a soul in purgatory is smiling. And may one day when your time comes, that soul be there to say thank you. You did not forget me. Now it's my turn to pray for you. If these teachings have touched your heart, write thank you in the comments. Your gesture helps this message reach more people. And remember to like this video, share it with someone who might need this spiritual wisdom, and subscribe to our channel for more profound insights that can transform your faith journey. Our special prayer community is growing every day, and we need your support to continue spreading the faith and teachings of Padre Pio. By becoming a member of our channel, you're not just supporting our work, you're joining a worldwide family united in prayer for forgotten souls. Together, we can ensure that no soul remains abandoned in the shadows of forgetfulness. May God bless you. May Padre Pio intercede for you, and may the souls you have helped welcome you with joy when your own journey on earth is complete.